Hello, everyone. How are you? Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jeffrey Gutierrez, and I am owner of OTW. OTW stands for Our Team Works. We are a support group organization geared to establish collaborative learning within our community. We provide support groups for teens. We provide support groups for adults as well. We're located in West New York, New Jersey. And every week we try to have something, especially during this time of COVID, we try to have some type of virtual connection that we have to our community. And I started a series called Keep the Change, right? Because we want to create change within our community often and development so that when we get out of this time, we are looking really strong and powerful. I bring in community influencers, individuals in our community that have impacted every single individual that they have faced. Today, I am super blessed to have a very special guest, an individual who constantly motivates, constantly inspires, not just by showing it within himself, but also giving it to others. His name is Luis Paredes, and he is one of the franchise owners for CKO in West New York. Louis, how are you, sir? How's everything
How we
going?
doing?
How are you?
Great morning,
Thank you
Jeffrey.
so much for joining us.
No, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and that's a great introduction. And just listening to your intro, it's a lot. It says a lot, and I'm honored to be on your show with for everything that you have said and you're trying to do for the community and other people to make a difference in others. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. And like Jeffrey said, I'm over in the fitness industry over here in West New York, New Jersey. I've been in the industry for a little bit over 10 plus years at this point. Um, and that kind of ties in what Jeffrey how he introduced me. Um, I guess at this point, who I am and who I've become over the years with the business, I've been blessed to say that and fortunate that it hasn't just been a business where you generate money, but I've been fortunate enough to change a lot of people's lives because of the business and what I do and my staff and who the team I get involved with day in and day out. Um, this name came up with Lou the Motivator, but outside of the name and the social media, it, really the core of it, and I believe I have a successful business to this day. What I believe is successful is because we are changing people's lives through fitness. And to answer your question, that's who I am and become to this day now. Um, because it's a continuous reward given back to me where it's kind of somehow some way you always have an impact, being this person running this business where people come in, they walk into a door to change their lives through fitness. And I must say that 8 out of 10 people that walk out of there, it's not just through fitness, and they realize it's a little deeper more than fitness. What we do in there, encouragement, inspiring people, and letting people, pushing people, letting them know that they could do more than they think they could do, goes such a long way, past
Yeah.
what you look like in front of the mirror. Psychologically it does. Um, so that's who I am a little bit today. That person that helps others, and somehow, somewhere, I found a niche and also to make a living out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for spreading all the wealth that you have, Louis. When you first got started in this industry, what was your motivation? What was your motivation to first get started in the health industry itself? What were you thinking about?
So I grew up around sports. I grew up playing football, American football. I played it in high school. I played it. I went up to college to play football. So I approached the whole health and fitness industry from a whole selfish aspect, right? I got to make it to the NFL. So you live this dream because you play in sports. You pick a sport and you live the dream to make it to the pros. So that was my background with sports, I should say, and that ultimately led me to fitness and health where I am today. Um, and I must say, so it wasn't one of those things where one day I said to myself, I'm gonna, open up a gym or get into health and fitness. It was because of the dream that I had of making it to the NFL. It's what led me here. Um, and life has a funny way of working itself out because after I was done with college and that didn't work out for me, and I realized, okay, now I have to kind of continue on with life And at this point, you think you have it figured out because, oh, all right, I'm going to make it to pros. And then you kind of work in that direction and it doesn't happen. And then you're faced as a young man, you're faced with this, oh, wow, life is really happening now. Like, what do I do with myself, you know? And for me, that was the case. So I went up to school. I went to go play football. That expired. And then I realized, okay, what am I going to do in my life? And I want to be honest with you, everything just kind of landed on my lap. And I think because of what I'm doing today, I think all of that was supposed to happen. You know, it was kind of like, whether you call it a God or a universe, it put me in that path. Things landed on my lap that I wasn't looking for. And I just, you know, the second land on my lap, I ran with opportunity. After I was done with college, I, by mistake, landed a job with FedEx. And I say by mistake because I roomed with I had 6 roommates up in college. And
Wow.
in a 2-bedroom apartment. So it was, and we was all football players and we all had the dream, and all we did was sleep and eat football, and that's what it came down to, you know. And it's one of those days I walked in after school and everybody was getting ready to go, and I said, where is everybody going? And well, we're gonna take this test for FedEx. It's, you know, instead of going home for the vacation, this is Albany, New York. Instead of going back home down to Brooklyn for the vacation, you know, we should try to get a job, you know. So let's go take this test for the Christmas. You know, they hired extra people. I didn't want to be home by myself. That's the only reason I went. I didn't want to be home by myself. Make a long story short, end up going. We take this basic test. The only person that gets the call back is me. The person that didn't want the job, didn't want to be home by himself. They call me back. Of course, everybody's upset. Like, how do you get the job? So I get the job part-time. I graduate. Now I'm ready to go back home to New York City to figure things out, see what I'm going to do next, you know, what school I'm going to go follow up with next. At this point, because of my sports background, I do want to get into coaching. Now, okay, I didn't play, but now I would like to get into coaching. So I need to go into, you know, the whole sports world, and that's the direction I was going to go into. My FedEx manager at the time took me under his wing, one of my first mentors that I had in life. Great guy, Jeffrey Burrs. I'm mispronouncing his name. Burrs.
Okay.
Landed on over my shoulder and took me as his child. Said to me, Lou, why would you want to quit FedEx and go down there? You know, why don't you transfer with the job? I didn't know you could do that. So he helped me to transfer. I ended up in a full-time job here in the city across the water, New York City. And of course, because I'm newer down here, they give me a night shift. They give me a 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. desk job, and I did that for 2 years in New York City, and I chased the money. I chased the money. I chased another $3 an hour, and I went on the road, and I started driving. When I had the desk job, Jeff, I thought I was going to retire with FedEx at this point. I was looking into management courses. This was it for me. I wasn't thinking of going back to school. Money just kept getting better and better with the company, benefits, etc. And I chased the money. I went on the road. It was the worst mistake I could have made with FedEx. Now, in retrospect, looking back, it was the best choice I could have made. And this is where all that happened for me is when 2-3 years of driving in New York City, the concrete jungle, I realized, wow, I am 23 years old and I am the unhappiest I've ever been in my life. I did nothing that made me happy. All I did was work and sleep and work and sleep. It cost me a relationship. It cost a lot of things in my personal life at the time. And I realized I need to make a change. And this is right around 08, 09, when we had the market crash and everything was happening with the economy and everybody was, you know, losing their jobs and holding on to whatever jobs they had. And I'm over here going, I'm not happy. I need to quit. Right. So whenever I brought this around people, they'll tell me, you're crazy. Like, you don't want to lose a FedEx job right now. And I said, I get it. You have benefits. I get it. I'm 23, 24 years old. I go to the doctor one time for that one time a visit, follow up. You know, like, I'm not relying on benefits. I'm not 60 something years old. You know, I'm not there. So that I realized I was just kind of following the crowd. Oh, I got the benefits. I got to hold on to the benefits. No, Lulu. Think for yourself. What do you need? Went part time. Then jump off the cliff completely. Went part time. And so once I had these extra hours in the day, what do I do? So I went back to what made me happy, which was fitness and working out, and that's exactly what I did. I did door by door in all the local gyms in the area. Knew nobody, been to none of them ever. Wasn't familiar with the Jersey area at that time, being that I, born and raised in Brooklyn. Um, and I knocked on people's door and I walked in and I simply said, "Hey, Jeff, my name is Lewis. You need any help?" No, I know, no staff. Do you have a certification? Do you have it? Do you need somebody to clean your gym? I could clean your gym. I just psychologically, I just knew I had to be
Wow.
around this environment again. I just needed to be back into this better. It just this place where you walk in and you got to make yourself better, and or if you don't want to be there, people around you is gonna make you feel better. So I just know I needed that, and I landed. A lot of doors closed in my face, and I landed in CKO in Hoboken, and I walked in and I said, anybody needs some help, and with anything, I clean the gym, I mop, I sweep, I do what I got to do. And I was told, hey, we need a kids instructor. Are you any good with kids? And I said, the kids love me. No experience with kids. The kids love me. They love me. I love the kids. The kids love me, and we get along every day. So sure. So they put me in through the works part time. They put me into the training. Um, a year and a half into that, I went full time with them. And the CEO of CKO had this vision of going into a franchise worldwide in the next 10 to 15 years, which he pretty much at this point has made hit his target. So I'm blessed to have him as another mentor in my life. And a year and a half into it, he started this franchise, and I saw the vision, and I saw that I only worked for 5 years for FedEx and did nothing but just save money. So I had a little bit in the bank, not all of it, but some of it. And I saw the opportunity, and I said, "Hey, Joe, I can do this. I can get into this franchise, and I believe I can be successful in this world." And from there was
Wow.
history. And that's when I got started in
Wow.
'09. And like I said, it landed in my lap. It wasn't something that I was planning. It was just kind of like I just rolled with what life gave me, and I just
Wow.
made the best of it. Um,
Wow.
and that's how I ended up with CKO. Yeah,
Wow. You are celebrating. First of all, I just want to say that is an amazing, amazing story of your life, and you're now celebrating 23 years, right? 23 years plus, right? In this industry. Wow.
outside of
That is
yeah, more or
a
less.
yeah, as a tremendous journey, Lewis. And when we're filming this episode right now, we're going through a pandemic. We're going through an issue of COVID where businesses are closed. There's a lot of things going on there for people. You recently were featured on a New York Times article. Congratulations for that, by the way.
Thank you,
Just
thank you.
recently featured about that, about doing workouts at home. It sounds like through your life, you completely understood what persevering through obstacles was about. Like that's what it really sounds like you did that with your life coming out of Brooklyn and so forth. This time, how has it affected you?
Like you said, I've been the underdog my whole life. I've been
Mm,
the underdog my whole life. I've never been the favorite in any situation my whole life. And in the situation that we're all in, not just not just nationwide, worldwide, um, it not to undermine anything that's happening out there, but yes, the second this kicked in and all it happened, and it did take about over a week to realize how serious it was, because you first think, no,
yeah.
it's going to take 2 weeks and then we'll right back to. Then once you realize, okay, oh no, this is happening. Um, my mentality was really just roll up your sleeves. It's time to work and figure it out.
Mm,
The norm is not going to continue for anytime soon. So what are we going to do? I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, all right, Luke, what are we doing? What's going on? What direction are we moving in? Um, and I felt like, and I still feel like it's my responsibility I owe it to others because others do look up and others do, um, they are motivated. They are inspired by you. So you can't stay dormant. So it was time to roll up the sleeves and get moving and figure it out. And how are we going to do it? And at first, I don't know. I didn't know. Just like a lot of people don't know how we're gonna do it. But you know what? Let me just keep doing what I do. Let me just keep showing up and doing what I do. I said, you know what? I said people need to move. I said let me go ahead and figure this whole Instagram and social media stuff. I said let me continue doing what I do inside the gym to others through this device here, and that's what I did. And you mentioned the New York Times article, and yes, it. I didn't look for it. I didn't call anyone. I just kept doing what I doing, and where I reside, I had to talk to my neighbors when I said, "Hey, I'm gonna do two classes a day during the week. Just don't mind me for 30 minutes a pop. I gotta talk to my people. I gotta motivate my people, and this was happening." Um, and people started giving me the feedback of like, "Wait, who, what, where do I see this? Can I join you?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." You know, um, and because of that, the where I live in the building, people started knowing me as Lou the Motivator. And, oh, the guy that works out. Oh, the workout. Oh, I saw you. Oh, and then somehow, some way, it landed on management, and management gives me a call and says, "Hey, we know what you do. We know this person. They want to do this. Are you interested?" And again, another opportunity that just landed on my lap. Hey, you know what you do. Do you want to go into franchise? Another opportunity.
Yeah.
Hey, don't quit your job. Go into full time. You can do something out of it while you figure things out. Another opportunity. So it's just kind of like you do the right thing. You put the right hustle out there. You for the right reasons, and it just comes back to you. It comes back to you. I always say, I always tell people, stay ready so when the opportunity comes, you don't have to get ready.
Mm.
And that you could take that a million ways. I go do 1,000 push-ups and run for 20 miles every day. Yeah, okay. Physically, yes, but mentally is the most important part, right? Because this body that you and I have, eventually, if we get older, things break down, and we're not gonna perform like we did 10 years ago. So the mind got to stay sharp, right? The mind has to stay on point. So yeah, it was just time to continue. It was time to continue hustling. There was no reason to stop. Now more than ever. So I found myself in that situation where it was just kind of like, all right, another obstacle we got to deal with. So let's deal with it. And
What?
here
Wow.
with it today.
What's your message to people during this time? This time brings about a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress in individuals, and it's hard. It's hard sometimes for people to see. Well, how do I stay motivated? While I'm in the house, while I'm dealing with all these things. People are dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety because of their job, because of their family, because of their income. You you're known as Lou the Motivator. I love your words, right? Like your words just have a way of impacting individuals, just kind of hitting people right in that epicenter of their heart and their core. What's your message to these people? How do people stay motivated during this time, especially with everything going on?
So the only thing constant in life is going to be change. Nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. Even when you think things are staying the same, you're either getting better or they're getting worse. Nothing stays level, right? There's always change to it. And I say that because once we understand that, now we understand that we have to keep up with that change, right? Or else. Um, so as everything is changing around us drastically, this is the time to stick to the basics, right? So you gotta one has to always remember where they came from and who was around them, what were they doing. And when I say in these times like that, sticking to the basics of what was a good time in your life, what got you this results. You got to go back to that person and adjust to these times with it, right? None of none of us really know what's going to happen in the next 4, 6, 12 months, but we do know what's happening with ourselves today. So it's the little things that count. You heard that one before, but are they really little? Because if they count, they're not really little. So everything counts. I say that to, of course, people lost their jobs. Of course, now money's an issue. Of course, there's depression kicking in. Of course, all of this happening. But emotion comes from motion. The body got to stay in motion. You got to, if you're confined to your home because of the situation, you got to do the little things. You got to wake up. You got to make your bed. You got to make sure you're eating the proper food. You got to have some type of, whether it's fitness, whether it's working, whether it's a class, you got to stick to the basics of life. So your body, your mind can keep going, the message is don't stay dormant this time. Like, okay, if you're going to soak it all in, what's happening, and not move for a couple of days and think about it and sit back and think about what's happening, but you got to move. you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move, man. You can't stand still. You can't stand still. And if that means like setting your schedule up every day and having a routine, whatever routine that must be in the house, it gives you a routine. It gives you some type of a blueprint that you start working with, right? I believe the worst thing you could do is not move and sit back and feel sorry for yourself and think about how it used to be. It's not going to be that anymore. So we have to start coming up with routines, coming up with what you got to be careful what we read, what we listen to, who we talk to, who we spend our time with now more than ever. Because when the doors open back up, who are you going to be out there? You know, who are you back out there? How are you going to produce out there? So just standing guard at your mental gate, you know, of just knowing that you got to just properly, you know, fuel yourself with food, properly just move your body and just read, listen, hang out with the right people, the right things, and that's all we can do because the unknown is here. So we just got to work on ourselves right now, you know, the best we can.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree with you. You know, doing something that like you said, you know, emotion is motion. I love that, right? Because you got to keep moving. You cannot stay dormant within your own anxiety and your own depression. You need to heal the body, and the body heals in motion, right? So
oh yeah,
absolutely.
So it's one of those things where right now you can, if we had 3 doors and we said, and you can't see the people behind there, we said, hey, I need you to let me know behind door number one is this, you know, this person going through depression. They're not really talking. They're not really, they stay into themselves. Can you describe this person to me? You and I both can describe this person. Their shoulders are down, their head is down, they're not talking, they're not making eye contact. Why? Because we've been there before. Behind door number 2, there's this person that's super happy, just got married. Please describe this person physically. And you can describe this person. Shoulders back, head up, they're smiling, eye contact, they're talking, they're loud. Again, so I say this because look at yourself in the mirror every day, man, and tell yourself that, you know, as long as you are the best version of yourself, everything will be okay. Everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. And, you know, it starts with your body motion. It starts with, you know, you can't, hey, good morning. Anybody, just doing it makes me feel bad. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta get up there. You gotta have fresh air. You gotta walk. You gotta practice with your chest. So yes, emotion comes from motion, and you gotta stay. We gotta keep moving. We gotta keep moving.
Well, one thing you said, Lou, is things just kind of fell in your lap, right? Do you think that your success and your ongoing development came from luck? It just fell in your lap, like you said, right? Do you think everything falls into luck? Because you know what, like we have so many youth, so many individuals trying to figure out what to do with their lives through any obstacle that they go through, right? Do you really think it was fully on luck for you?
No. I believe because of my perseverance and my consistency with things, I think that put me in a position where the opportunity came my way.
Yes.
And
love that.
When it did, I caught that NFL touchdown I never caught. I caught it. Yes. I got it. I scored. I won the game. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was the consistency of me just staying in that motion of knowing that something better is coming because I am becoming better. There can't be nothing after this if I'm being the best version of myself. Something good is going to come. Something good is coming, and it came, you know, and it continues to keep coming, you know. And I also have days where I'm like, you know, I'm a human being. But then I look at the people around me. I look at myself in the mirror and I say to myself that, you know, it's not just, there's people out there that's willing to help. There's people out there that's willing to also pick you up and carry you in the dark days, you know, and because of that, I owe those people that And when I say those people, I also mean people that I've never met one on one. I have people that message me and say thank you for doing what you're doing, and don't I'm referring to everyone that
Yeah.
you have a responsibility to, and you got to get up and show up, you know. So yeah, opportunity definitely came my way because of my perseverance. Yeah, yeah.
You
So if we want to
open
define luck as that, that's yeah.
Yeah, you open yourself up to this, and I think that that's definitely what I preach out there to our youth, especially, right? Because it's like you got to get yourself prepared to put the energy out there to receive any blessings that come from the world, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You growing up, you coming from Brooklyn and so forth, what were was football the one thing that taught you how to open yourself up to that energy, how to not give up? What was it through your life that you think were the highlights that really created this foundation in you to keep moving forward no matter the obstacle?
Um,
I get deep with these
it
questions, man.
is. Yeah, yeah. No, I actually appreciate it. 90, 94, 1994. I I landed in my aunt's living room in Brooklyn. I was born there, and not too long after that, my mother took me and we traveled quite a bit. We landed back in Ecuador. My family's from Ecuador. Um, and back at 9, 10 years old, I landed back in Brooklyn. And the reason I landed back in Brooklyn, I'm sorry if I'm getting a little emotional. So my mother had schizophrenia. I never completed school up to 5th grade. I started school officially in 5th grade, first time ever in my life. I all before that, I never stayed in school no more than a month or two. Reason being because my mother, because of her condition, she still has this story that, just people follow her around anyway and make her life miserable, and that included me. Therefore, we couldn't stay in one place. Therefore, I never really had friends up to that point because you set up shop somewhere for a month or two, and it was time to move because somebody found us, somebody caught us, somebody's here. We got to go. That included principals, that included teachers, that included my classmates, that included moving around all the time. I had no set home, in and out of shelters with my mother. She never worked a day in her life. Now looking back and realizing what she did for money, back then I didn't realize. I just thought she always had a lot of friends. So everyone in my family knew this. So they knew that if they saw me, they know the next time they'll see me. So this time was the same when I landed in Brooklyn. She went over to her sister's house, my aunt's house, for same thing she did anywhere, just to sleep for a weekend or something, to figure it out before the next move. I think that's where I got all my not stop moving, because my mother never stopped moving.
Yeah. Wow.
And my aunt knew the situation, and she sat me down at 9 years old and said to me, do you want a home? Do you want friends? Do you want to go to school? Do you want this? And do you want your own room? Do you want, and at the time I did. And she said, you staying with us. And the whole reality came out of it. She fought for custody. My mother, of course, didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Part of my language. Simply because she was just protecting her son. She thought she was doing good by her son, but she didn't, look at the outside world and what was happening. And I guess the court system thought I was old enough to tell the judge my decision. And it's crazy because now you're sitting here with my aunt giving me this new life next to my mother, and then you got this stranger saying, who do you want to live with?
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, so that was tough. So overnight, I land in his new family, because it is my family, but new because, I only met him 4 times in my whole life up to 10 years old, from visiting 2 weekends at a time or something. And that's it. I didn't see my mother for another 10 years after that. So yeah, my aunt, I love her to death. I'm fortunate for that. They gave me a roof. and they gave me food, and that was that. That was it. I didn't have any parents. They
Wow.
as much as they did what they did for me, they kind of just said, all right, that's your room. You go to school there. Figure it out. English was my second language. Is my second language. I didn't speak English at that point. I only spoke Spanish. I landed, if anybody's familiar with East Flatbush in Brooklyn, New York.
Hmm.
Uh, Back then, and still is, it's definitely a majority African American community. And here I land, looking the way I look, not speaking English,
Wow.
and I land right in the middle of that quote
It
unquote
was
hood.
wow.
So I had to learn really fast. I on my own, uh, and I did. And I think to answer your question, I think that's where all of that came from. That's my background.
Yes.
I took as a fifth grader. I finished up the last few months of fifth grade
Hmm.
when I did school, and I took class. They put me in ESL, English as a second language. I didn't know the language. I didn't know the culture. I didn't play any sports. I was not an athlete. Never. How could I? I was always on the run. My mother, being in and out of
Wow.
shelter, sleeping in trains with my mother. It never gave me an opportunity to be a child, to play, to have friends, to do any of that. And fast forward, I find myself in this neighborhood, in this block, and it was a little rough for me in the beginning, just to catch up with the culture. And I did. I did. So I believe, so you have this whole nurture versus nature thing, right? Some are born with it, some got. I really, really believe as an athlete, I didn't become a good athlete or good at fitness because it was one of those things where, okay, this is, you know, your genetics or you trained for this. It was literally just, and of course I picked football out of all the sports. I'm 80 pounds soaking wet, like, and I picked football. And
Wow.
I honestly think that I started running fast and jumping high out of fear. Out of fear. Here, Lou, this is the ball. You run that way. They trying to kill me. Yeah, no, that's the point. Run. And I didn't.
Wow.
I swear to you, man. I became the athlete I am today out of complete fear. It was my nurture. I had to adapt to what was going on. I was like, all right, 300-pound man
Yes.
coming at me. They angry. They won't kill me. I gotta get out the way. Run this way. Run that way. So and it's a metaphor for my life because I as I went I adapted. And
Wow.
I my new life began then. My new life began then. I learned the language pretty quickly at that age. You can, as a child, you can pick up languages very quickly. I think by the end of the year, I was pretty much into English. I'm sure I had some type of accent. A lot of fights, a lot of fights. The first 2 years when I landed there, as you can well imagine, the way I look, I don't speak the language, I don't speak the culture. I'm not a good. I don't play sports. Um, and so by 12 years old, I became who I became through my the culture I was part of at this point in my life. And my aunt, as I'm fortunate and I'm blessed to have her do what she did for me. Um, she also had a family to her. My uncle had a family to run, and I had cousins, and so she gave me a roof, and she basically said, "Figure it out, man. You got to figure it
Hmm.
out. You're on your own on this one. Figure it out." Um,
Wow.
and I was a child that didn't have much, much rules and guidance from my immediate home. My parents, it's crazy as it sounds, my parents are my best friends, people I grew up in my block. There's a group of five of us, and their parents, I could walk in any of their homes today, and go in their fridge and go to sleep
Wow.
on their couch, and they won't say a word to me. Those are my parents. Um, because of the situation, of course, my aunt and my uncle, they some type of parents, and they gave me the opportunity to be here today. Who knows if she would have never took custody of me, but day in and day out, this is how you hold the fork. This is how you eat. This is how you sit at a table. This is manners. This is
Wow.
what you do. It was all my best friend's parents, Trinidadians, Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans. So
Wow.
so I got the culture in me, man. I'm telling you,
That's great.
by nurture,
Wow.
by nurture. So Jeff, when I bring it back full circle, when I said in the beginning of this chat, I said I've always been the underdog my whole life. I've always, I found myself it's the little things and little things that count because they're not little. I found myself, I kid you not, in seventh grade, eighth grade, I found myself in fear when a teacher will give us an assignment as simple as, all right, just make sure that you alphabetically put together these and make sure they're
Mm.
alphabetical. Jeff, I didn't I didn't know my ABCs at 12, 13 years old. But I
Wow.
had to fake the funk because
Yeah.
can you imagine being that kid that don't know the ABC? So
Yeah. Exactly.
as crazy as it sounds, I literally in my head had to go A B C D E D E F G H. I didn't know my months.
Wow.
I didn't know my months. The only markers I knew in the calendar, a 12-month calendar at 12, 13 years old is that I knew that December was Christmas. I knew January because it was the first month of
Yeah.
the year,
Yeah.
and I knew 8 because that's my birthday. So I worked around that. December 12, 8, 4. Okay, so if June, July has to be 7, 6. Oh yes, 7, 6, 99.
Wow.
As I've also learned, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for me, but I've also learned to do this a lot.
Yeah.
May,
Yeah.
June, dying inside while I'm like
Yeah.
faking it,
Smiling and
and
outside. Yeah.
I've actually become a master of that. I've actually, and sometimes that has it's
The
come
gift
back
and the
and hurt me as an
curse.
adult.
Gift and the curse.
Right,
It's a gift and a
because
curse.
right, because I can get by with certain situations with that, but when it comes to opening up and talking, I'm mute and I
Mm.
stare at you, and I have so much to say, but I just can't get it out because I that's one part I never learned communication skills. The little things that we don't think we kids go to school for, they matter, man. They matter. How you interact with people, how you sit down with kids, and how you your peers and your parents and encouragement. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think I'd make it to the league because of my physical, for a lack of physical aspect. To be honest, everything on the table right now, I don't think I'd make it to the league because I wasn't any better or I was less physically talented than
Mm.
anybody. Size didn't matter. It doesn't mean nothing. I didn't make it because the second things got extra hard for me upstate New York when I came from a world that I developed this image and
Yes.
everybody knew Lou and I had the master key to high school and my driver's ed teacher was my coach and I didn't even have to take the course. He said, Lou, you know how to drive? Okay, I trust you. Like I
Yeah.
came from that world, my senior
Yeah.
year, right? Where everybody
Yeah.
was like, they knew Lou and Lou. And then I went to this world where they were like, yo, go in the back of the line. What's your name? And I was like, you don't, what? So
Yeah.
as simple as that sounds, because I didn't have that those parents going, hey, I know it's gonna get hard. You go and do it. I never had that. I never not one not one person from my immediate family ever came to a football game of mine. So I never had that support. As corny as it sounds, when it got hard and I needed that support, it wasn't there. So it was up on me. And of course, I took the easy way out. I was like, you know what? This might not be the best for me. Let me do
Mm.
this. But if I had those parents, if I had those
Yeah.
the the immediate day in and day out, people going, no man, come on, get up, go, you gotta go, you're gonna make it, I'm telling you right now, it would have been a different conversation, man.
Absolutely.
I'm, I,
Absolutely.
and I think that's why today I am who I am for people because I know the
Yeah.
importance of it, because I don't know
Lou.
everybody's story, and that's why I think I go the extra mile. And I tell people, yo man, you can fucking do that shit,
Yeah.
I do it,
Yeah.
like do it, man, do it, because I didn't have that I didn't I didn't have that mother telling me I could do it. Never met my father. My father sat in his car right now. I wouldn't know who the hell he was.
Mm.
Don't know who he is. Don't know what he looks like. Don't know if he's alive or dead. Um, so all these things matter. All these things
Yeah.
they do. They do affect you as an adult. Um, I'm just fortunate that I've used all of this for more positive rather than negative.
Yes. 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 Because
Yeah,
you
I
could
could
have fell into the negative
yeah. Oh
real
yeah.
quick.
Ah man.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
got
A lot do. A
I
lot
got
do.
yeah. I know a lot of people with both parents at home that they should have been
Exactly.
somewhere else today and they're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely somehow, some way, some things over me, and it still continue to be over me to continue making me make the right choices.
Lou, man, I've always thought of you as such an influencer. I always had a tremendous level of respect for you since I first met you. now I didn't know that that could get any bigger, and it absolutely has. And I just want to really appreciate you right now and really commend you because wow, you didn't have to share all that, and you did as an owner of your story and an owner of your truth. And that right there, I think took so much, man. And I really appreciate that because I think that right there, everything you just said, that creates change. That right there, the resilience to move forward regardless. You, wow, like you said, fear, fear kept you going, you know, and you had to adapt. You had no other choice than to adapt to this change. And what's crazy is like with our youth, it's hard to teach that lesson that you grew up, like life taught you. It's really hard to teach those lessons to kids when you're trying to be actively involved parents because you can't keep your kids from some of these lessons. They just, they obviously they just can't learn them the way you did growing up, right? Because you had no other choice. So now, how do we give these lessons to these kids so they could grow up as amazing as you without I mean, I completely, you know, connect to your story, right? Growing up with a single mom with a lot of different issues and obstacles, but definitely not to the extent that you went through, right? It's like, how do you create change in your life when you don't have all those obstacles? But then looking at like the fact that you created change in your life with those obstacles when so many others don't. I really want to, you know, show appreciation for that, Lou. That was amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Lou,
I honestly didn't think it was gonna go there myself, but when you asked,
you just took
what made
it.
you go, yeah, it just brought me there. Honestly, it
That's
really brought me there.
amazing, man. You know, in closing out, you have become a motivator. Life puts you there, right? But how do you connect? Like, what's inside you that connects to so many people that could have the ability to talk to anybody, regardless of their life, regardless of what they were given? Because one thing that you never do, that at least I never felt from you, is create this like personalized story and say, oh, you know, I went through this, so you could go through this. Never. Like when you speak, you motivate the individual where they're at. And I that's the part that I think has always grabbed me. What inside creates this energy to motivate others through whatever obstacle they're going?
Because I've seen it happen with myself, coming from a place where it's uncertain, dark, not the best scenario, and I've seen the changes on a personal level, and I've also seen it with others over the years, and I've seen how people can just make slight changes in their lives. It doesn't have to be drastic. Couple of degrees left or right, and I've seen the results at the end and how much an individual can accomplish and change their lives for the better. I've seen it time and time again that when I look at an individual and I reach out or we have a conversation or somehow, some way we cross paths, it's always, someone can always see a different thing when, a different view of what's happening with someone when they're from the outside. And I see it. I see, and I can guide people in that direction of like, hey, slow down a little bit. Just peep game. Look at look at the play right now. Look at the defense. You just gotta make a couple of changes, man. A little audible. You just wanna run a little route, different route there, and I think that'll make all the difference there. Try it out. Boom, run the play. Hey Lou, man, that play actually worked. Thank you. All right, so what if we do that now there? And then boom, oh shit, it actually worked. And I realize everybody's just one or two choices away from a completely different life. Completely different life, man. You people just gotta commit to one, two, three things tops that change. And before you know it, 30, 60 days down the road, man, they different people, man. They change. Literally, they change completely. So And because I know that simple truth, when I speak to old, young, female, male, Brooklyn or Albany or whatever religion, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all got the same needs. We And it's just something as simple as saying, "Hey, man, slow down. Just I'm trying to tell you there's gonna be change if you do this, you know." And for me, because of my line of my career, my livelihood, and what I do for others, obviously I approach it from a physical aspect and a fitness aspect. But I well know that the second you start making the changes for the first 2 weeks with your push-ups, the psychological is gonna come behind it, because you're gonna reach that day that's gonna go, man, I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I'm sore. And that's when your psychological kicks in and goes, no, man, you must, like, whatever your motivation is, your inspiration is, you're gonna get. That's when the mental kicks in, and now it becomes this, and that's why everyone, all of us, including myself, man, we all 2-3 choices from a whole different life every day, man. And I know when people make those choices and they start moving in the direction that makes it better for them, it's rewarding. It really is. It really is. It really is.
Yes, definitely. Lou, you know, it's is it fair to say, and I say this sarcastically, right, that it all comes easy to you now because you've just been used to it your whole life? Like success and all this amazingness is just natural to you now, right? There's no hard work for you now because hey, you've done it your whole life. Is that the case?
I wish it was. I wish it was, man. I wish it was. I wish it was. No, man. There's battle every single day. There's a battle every single day. Every single day is a battle. It's a battle. And I gotta fight, and we gotta fight. You gotta fight for happiness. You gotta fight for prosperity. You gotta fight for financial freedom. You have to fight, man. You have to every single day fight. So no, it does not come easy. And do I wake up thinking to myself, I need to do this because I need to obtain that? No, I just wake up and do it because I know it makes me feel good.
Mm.
One thing I realized with this whole lockdown situation when it first started, the first week or two, like I said, I went into it like, I think it'll be, we'll be back on track in a little bit, so it's fine. And I caught myself just kind of saying, unplugging a little bit, just kind of relaxing, just getting off the routine and not as strict on, I don't think I live a strict life, but just, just staying outside of my daily routine. And I realized one thing about 4 or 5 days into it. I said, holy smokes, I am an individual of habit. I need to keep some type of schedule. I need some type of routine, because when I don't, I go backwards 100 miles away. I'm a second. I go
Preach.
backwards.
Yes. Yes.
Like scary. Like, whoa, Lou. I thought you was Lou the Motivator. What's going on here? I thought you was good. I thought you just this is what you did. No, my friend. Let me stop working on what I do 5 days into it. I find myself in a whole different place. I was like, whoa, ho, where's my book, man? All right, 10 o'clock, I got to go walk outside. 11, yeah, as silly as it was, at 11, I make sure that the kitchen's clean. I just need a routine. If I don't have a routine, I'm gone. So to answer your question, no, man, it's a battle every single day. It doesn't come easy. I don't.
Wow. Wow. Lou, thank you so much for what you said today. I could talk to you for hours about this stuff and the change that you have the ability to do to impact others' lives. I mean, I appreciate it. I know that I, even as a therapist, absolutely believe in what you have, in your theory, in your theology, in your ability. And we started something together, right? Emotion is motion, right? Movement is medicine. I love that. I love it. I love it. Lou, how can people access you, man? Can you tell the viewers how can they access you? What can they access you for? I know you're doing free sessions online.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. But aside from that, like, how can people really access you, maybe in a more personal level, or to join your gym and so forth? Can you tell the viewers about that?
Yeah, definitely. If you want a general aspect, definitely, CKO over in Western New York, over at You go on to ckOkickboxing.com and just, West New York location, or just Google CKO West New York. We don't have to get crazy with addresses and phone numbers at this point, technology. I mean, there. But if you really just want to get back onto like more of a, personal aspect, at Lou the Motivator, LU the Motivator, you could definitely DM me, and I am more than happy to help with answering anything, having a conversation about anything. So yeah, at Lou the Motivator is probably the easiest way to get at me, the fastest way to get at me nowadays. So if you guys need to, I'm here to help if I can.
Nice, Lewis. Thank you so much for everything, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and wow, man, the story was amazing. Thank you for influencing others. Thank you for continuing to change our community, and honestly, thank you for all you do, Lou. Any final messages to everybody, man? What are your final messages to people, uh, to get through this moment and any moment in their life?
Change is the only thing constant in life. So therefore, we need to adapt to our environment and our situation. That doesn't mean we sit there and we weep and we think about what used to be, but we have to focus on what's going on now and what's going to happen in the future. So that means that you need to be a better version of yourself, whatever that might be. Whatever that might be. Waking up, making your bed when you never did. Just whatever that might be, you figure that out, and you got to stay on top of it. And like Jeff said, man, hard work, dedication, health as well. Movement is medicine. If you feel good, you look good. If you feel strong, you are strong. And that's all I got to say today.
Amazing, man. Thank you so much, Lou. Thank you for everything. Everyone that's joining us, we will have for these sessions with individuals that are influencers in our community, individuals as great as Lewis. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Keep the change going, because the only way that we can create community, influence, and impact is together. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah.
Have a blessed day. Keep it moving forward. Thank you.
Yes. Bless up.